All right, so you want a little bit more power out of your car, you want better throttle response, and you don't want to break your bank spending too much money or blow out your warranty. I've done it all, and I'm going to show you guys what you can do and what's the best path to do this. I'm going to show you a few things here and tell you how I did it myself and what you should do, what works best, and the little caveats that come with this. Welcome back to the channel. With the Gen 6 Camaros, the LT1s, because I did this on the SS1LE as well, and I did this on my ZL1 as well, so they're a little bit different, but I did all of it. So you could do a few things, and I'm going to tell you in order of least amount of effort in money to the most amount of effort in money as far as intakes go. Step one, I got them all laid out right here actually. Step one is removing your snow blocker. That's this thing. That's this like awkward thing. I did this on the Golf R as well. I just made a video about that. You could watch it on the Golf R, but you're interested in the Camaro. This baby sits down inside the bumper right here in the flow of the intake to block it if like you drive through a buttload of snow, which like nobody's doing in their ZL1s. Coming down here, your intake tract right here, the snow blocker actually blocks it right behind the headlight. And that's where it kind of sits there, so to catch any like big amount of snow trying to get shoved up your intake, you don't need it. I'm just going to say it right now, but in order to get to it, you do have to take off the radiator shroud here, and then once you get inside the radiator shroud, you'll be able to get your hand down there. Use gloves because you're going to cut yourself. You get a little bit more whistle out of the intake tract. It's not terrible, but it's something you're going to do, but it's going to give you a little bit of throttle response. Pull it out. And we move to the drop-in filter. Now you could buy multiple of these. They got like a green filter. You could try that out. I bought the K&N this time when I did it, and I put this in, and yes, again, a little bit of throttle response, a little bit more noise, but not much. So these two paired together, the snow blocker and the air filter, actually kind of have a nice little combo going to them. I'd suggest that if you don't really want to mess too much with warranty, you don't want to do anything like that, just replace the filter and be happy. Just make sure you maintain it. Now, of course, the big question here is intakes, and we're going to talk about intakes. Basically, the best one for the Camaros out there is the Roto-fab. It's pretty much well renowned. It's what everybody really goes to. If you're tuning, this is the way to go. If you got a ZL1, they have a big gulp and like a standard. The big gulp's for like higher horsepower applications, and it needs a tune. Where the standard one does not. Now I put this on my SS1LE as well. It was a different intake. I actually have it sitting back there, but it's the same idea, same concept, but they got to be different, right? These actually work really well. They're really well made. They're a little expensive. You're looking at like $500-600 for a Roto-fab intake at the end of the day. You can also change the filter. So this Roto-fab actually came off my SS. If we come back here, I'm going to show you. I still have my SS1LE intake. And you can see I got the oiled filter. I know of some tuners that go with the dry filter and suggest the dry filter because they're trying to inch out every little thing. But I'll say at the end of the day, it's up to you and how you want to maintain it. An oil filter has to be oiled, and don't over oil it. A dry filter can be cleaned out from the inside out. But go with whatever you like. I'm going to be honest with you, it's not really going to make a difference to you. It's that small. Pull up against the hood here, you have to replace some screws. Look at that Roto-fab. They give you a screw, but it's already rusting. Those will get changed out very soon. But this is the way to go, especially on ZL1s, especially on SS1LEs. As far as like making noise and a little bit of throttle response, but you pair that with the snow blocker removal and you're in the sweet spot. No tune, no warranty blown, which is cool if that's what you care about. But also if you want to make big power, go E85 later, you're already set up. You'll get more power if you tune with this intake. That's the benefits. So when you're ready to go mod, you're ready to drop pulleys, E85, you're ready to do more to your car, you're already like, you got the bolt-ons, and then you do the tune at the end. So you could go through, you could drop pulleys, you could port whatever you want, do whatever you want, but the intakes you can actually start enjoying now while maintaining your warranty until you're ready to go full tune. Now, the instructions for the Roto-fab are absolutely terrible. Don't go by their process. You're going to have to do it yourself because it was incorrect. But the final fit and finish is actually pretty good. All right, we got some initial first impressions with the Roto-fab intake. So first and foremost, like right off the bat, you get a little bit of throttle response improvement. Now I could say that's true for the SS1LE that I had, and I could also say that's true for the ZL1. Everything you do for a car that's a little bit more high sprung, you're gonna notice the changes a little bit more. So with that said, I think the intake gives more to the ZL1 than it does like the naturally aspirated V8s, the LT1, SS, and all that kind of stuff. But you still are gonna notice this. Now, when you put the intake on, you're gonna notice kind of there's actually a little bit of a whistle that comes from the front side of the car. And if you remove the snow blocker like I do, you're going to notice it even more. You get used to it though, but it's like a whistle on low input throttle, and then it just goes away. At first it kind of honestly annoyed me, and then after like a good minute, I didn't really care. I've been driving my Golf R quite a bit, so I'm a little weird on this clutch right now. There is something I noticed on track is that you're gonna have like a flat point. It feels like in the torque curve, and I've only noticed this on track in like a full throttle RPM. When you get up to somewhere around like, I'd say around like 4,000 to 5,000 RPM, it feels like the torque curve kind of flattens out. I would say that these intakes probably cause your car to run a little bit rich. You're not going to make much peak horsepower unless you actually tune for it. But I noticed that on track mostly because I spent a lot of time in that RPM. And I got to say, I didn't like that. I almost thought that, yeah, I should be, I've got an ambulance. I almost thought that maybe I should just go to stock airbox rather than using the Roto-fab on the track. Never really did it, and I don't think you're going to notice any time differences or anything like that. It's just something I thought about. Of course, if you throw an intake, any kind of open air intake on like a ZL1, you're going to get supercharger whine, and that's the biggest reason to actually like put these things on is sound. Is you want your car to sound like really freaking cool. Supercharged whine comes out a lot more with the Roto-fab. That was really the big reason why I did it, is I wanted more supercharger whine. I mean, naturally, who doesn't, right? The LT1, when I put the intake on, I gave it a bunch of miles so the engine can get used to it. The car can do its computer things, dial in its idle, all that kind of stuff. One thing I noticed is like when I was in the canyons and you got, basically mountains on both sides of you, so like, noise can bounce around quite a bit. Get a lot more front end noise with the intake, and it just sounds like bah, like it just sounds like it's just eating, dude, and it sounds badass. It's almost like the front end is as loud as the exhaust in the back end, which I had Borlas at the time. So I mean, from a sound perspective, I think it's still worth it to do it. I think for like just sound alone, I would still do an intake. If you're expecting a performance increase and you don't want it to like tune your car, you're not going to really get anything. But
you're all set. Have a good one.
All right, thank you. Yeah. All right, boys, we got some canes, and we're gonna go get a few pulls so you guys can hear the supercharger with the Roto-fab with the snow blocker removed. Pretty much optimally how you want to do this. Now, the bad sides of doing all these mods is, of course, like, anytime you touch your car outside of like the factory designation, your dealership can kind of be how they want to be, right? So it's kind of up to them how they want to proceed with things. I will say like an engine failure is pretty few and far between. Oh yeah, you can hear the supercharger just right there. So you can hear the supercharger coming on around 2,500 RPM. Oh, there's a cop. See, I'm doing some footage here, a large sweet tea. The takeaways is, of course, the dealership and how they're going to possibly deal with the warranty or not deal with the warranty. I've never had a problem with an intake in all the years that I've been doing this. I've been modding cars. I'm going to sound really old here for close to 20 years. I put an intake on everything except for like maybe like my Mazda 3, my daily car, because I felt like it was goofy. I even put it on my first car, like an Altima. I'm not a Nissan boy, but you know, like it's not really going to do much. But I will say, depending on the intake, it may or may not throw off your throttle trim and like your gas input. You might be running really heavy. You'll get a lot more black soot on the exhaust pipes, which I've noticed with the Roto-fabs as well. So I do personally think that the Roto-fabs make your car run a little bit rich. And I almost want to say when you get into a certain RPM up top, you go a little bit lean, which is a bad thing. I'd rather be rich than lean. But overall, I don't think it's a safety thing. I don't think you're going to blow your engine because of a Roto-fab. Your mass airflow sensor and the computers are going to like dial things back to where they should be to make it safe. So cars are pretty smart nowadays in that regard. Now, it is not Hellcat loud. It is not Hellcat loud. Those Hellcats come with like an open intake on them stock. Like it's pretty crazy. Even like the Scat Packs have like with the shaker hood, you could get an open intake with it. So it's making mad noise, but the Hellcat supercharger is significantly louder. So if you want it more noise, there's two things you can really do. You could change the supercharger lid. There's multiple lids out there that you can change and they just bolt up. Again, you're looking at maybe messing with warranty kind of stuff like that if you really care, but there's not much in the way of design of like actually creating a failure by doing that. The supercharger lid, and then if you lower your pulley, which you're going to make more heat, and you get more power by doing this, but that's going to make it louder too because you're spinning it up faster. Of course, my Golf R is my outdoor car. The ZL1 stays inside. She's a good car though.